Okay, well, just hear me out. You had a good run. You didn't do nothing wrong. It's not you. It's me. It is. No, I know people say that, but you got to believe me. To where you have your limits, your morals. She doesn't. She's going to let me be who I want to be. And that's worth something to me. Well, guys, sorry you had to see that. That was pretty uncomfortable. Um, it's kind of awkward that she's just still hanging out here. I think she's even staring at me. Let me, let me just here. We're just gonna out of sight, out of mind. So this 461 not only has a 661 cover on it, which so this used to be a quarter turn twist knob, which is not the case anymore. I do have a max flow under it. It is jammed in there. I don't know if that's going to work very well. I'm thinking I might cut vents in the side. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but it's kind of a tight fit too. Regardless, there we go. So this is going to be a new project saw. Call it a hybrid, call it a Frankenstein, whatever you want to call it. I want to try something crazy with this, and it might be the saw that I'm gonna mess with the turbo slash pro charger slash nitrous saw. I do like the 461 platform. I've built a ton of them. Really popular wildfire saw. You know, a lot of guys use them. They love them because you can get really good power out of them. And I leave the stock coil on it, that 3-post coil. That is going to have a built-in stage timing advance, and it's faster. It is a faster coil in certain situations, but for the guys that I build saws for out there that want the 461s, they want them because they're lighter than a 661 and they can pull a big bar if you build them right. I build them torquey. I don't build them for top end. I did build one for Mike Billings, who's a really good customer. He's got about 1 billion saws I've built, and I'll put a video of that in here. You guys have seen it, but this one has a quote-unquote non-limited coil, and it's you can hear it four-stroking a little bit, but that saw I built different. You know what I mean? I built it different to run like that, and basically because he's gotten a lot of saws by me. So check this one out. So yeah, that's Mike's 461, and again, I leave the stock coil in them. They're for the wildfire guys, the torquey saws that I build 461s. You're better off with that. So I just want to make that clear. Not that anybody's like, well, I should switch the coil out. Honestly, no. What I'm doing to this saw is going to be running really high RPMs, and this is going to be a pretty crazy build. So I do got to get rid of the limited coil. I don't know if I'm going to advance timing. In fact, no, never mind. I'm not going to advance timing, so that'll give you a clue to what I'm doing with this thing. All these projects that I got going on, you know, fire season is coming up faster than I want to believe, so I'm just super busy right now. I just don't have time to do this. It really is extracurricular. You know, I hate to say that, but it is. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but the real world calls, and I gotta do the saws that people need, and then I can mess around with this other stuff. Honestly, I wish I could hire somebody, but let me flip this thing around. I wanted to talk about some saws. Another thing, I do got a different delivery system for the NOS saw. I brought this out to Joe's Firewood to cut some stuff, and it shit the bed on me. I had a carb issue, so I had to fix that, and now I got this thing sorted out. I'm going to try this type of delivery. It missed the nitrous more instead of just spraying it right in there. And actually, here, I'll show you. And it kind of spreads it out a little bit. And I got a different nozzle in there. My problem, believe it or not, is that it's too much nitrous. I got so much going in there, so it's going to purge at first. See that? It's way lighter. So before it was ridiculous. Like, it literally would choke the engine out sometimes. So Oh, gotta bleed the line. Always bleed the line. But that thing's running again. It needed a new carb. The carb just went bad in it. I basically had a 660 carb Frankenstein in there, and I got a little too thin on my grinding is what happened. I had to do a lot of grinding to get the thing in there, and I went a little too crazy, and it put a hole in the side of the carb. Oh, Frankenstein builds, huh? What are you going to do? But let's talk about some things. If this ain't your thing, go ahead and leave the video right now. This ain't like a hater thing or anything like that. It's just some stuff that I got to address, unfortunately. And let's get to it. Also, real quick before I get into it, this is what I meant by semi-chisel. This is the 404 chain I was using on the 881 in that video. See how it's got that rounded, it's got a rounded cutter on it. And that's meant to, so it can keep an edge longer, stay sharp longer in like dirtier, you know, or dirty cuts and stuff like that. And it does work for that situation. And the first 881 I did for John's stump grinding, I got him that big Cannon bar that I borrowed for the video. A really nice bar, and I got a great deal from Madsen's in Washington. And they have this chain. They told me, I think that's all they carry. Called a couple places around here locally that's all they had, or some places didn't have any 404. So for one, I don't know where to get a chisel chain in 404, and for what he's using it for, it's going to work really good. The stuff cuts a lot better than I thought it would, but obviously it's not going to cut like a chisel chain with the square cutter. But that's what I meant, and that's why it wasn't like ripping off big chips and, you know, kind of cuts a little slower. But it is what it is, guys. So there you go.